Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Sierra, and this video is going to be about Sean Cameron. So before we get started, I do want to let you know we're going to do this by season. So each video is going to be a season. The last video is going to be like season 6 and season 7 since he's only in one episode in season 7. But we're going to break this up so we're not here forever, okay? Okay, so be on the lookout for like parts 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? All right. Anyway, let's jump into it. Who is Sean Cameron? Sean Cameron is he's our first bad boy. I'm not counting Jay because Jay's a demon, but Sean is our first bad boy. He is introduced in season 1. He is Emma's ex. Yeah, Emma's ex, really. He dated Amy for like a hot second, but we don't count her because she's not part of the main cast whatsoever. Sean has had a very difficult upbringing, so diving into a little bit of his backstory before getting into his time on Degrassi, he actually is from Wasaga Beach, and he used to attend Degrassi, but then moved back to Wasaga Beach and is back at Degrassi. His parents are god-awful. I believe both of them are alcoholics, if I have my information correct. If not both, but one is an alcoholic. We also know that his dad is very unreliable when it comes to financial support. Within the household, he has an older brother, Tracker, who he ends up staying with when he comes back to Degrassi. So Sean has been through a lot from what we know, just from how he comes onto the show. Now, we don't know what his day, what every single day was like for him in Wasaga Beach, but we kind of get a gist of it because, I mean, he is our bad boy. So clearly Wasaga Beach, there wasn't a lot of good influences. Okay, let's just go with that. And also just being in that environment also didn't help either when it comes to like having dreams for the future or like, you know, certain situations. Obviously he was more susceptible to a lot of negative experiences and being in a negative environment. But anyway, let's hop on into it. In Eye of the Beholder, which is his first episode, he is seen getting off of Tracker's motorcycle. Then he's introduced by Simpson in class, and Simpson asks him if he wants to say anything. Sean says no. Okay, sir. Later, Jimmy bugs him in the hall. Bugs him at lunch about him losing a year because the fact that he went to Degrassi, went to Wasaga Beach, and then came back, he lost a year. So he's repeating 7th grade while Jimmy and the rest of the crew are 8th graders. And Emma stares at Sean because obviously she's like, oh my God, he's so attractive. Ew. I'm like, he's a cutie pie. Like, I'm not gonna knock her for that. But later on, yes, Sean gets really hot. Okay, so I kind of agree with Emma, like along the way. But at the beginning, like, he's a cutie pie. Like, you know. Later at the dance, Jimmy tells him about the party at his place. And he's like, oh, I'll make an exception for you, even though you're a 7th grader. And Sean's like, can you stop repeating it? Like, you keep repeating it and it doesn't help. You're making it worse. And he like throws Jimmy against the wall, and Emma comes up to him and asks him if he wants to dance because Raditch is like 2 seconds away from spotting him. And so he ends up dancing with Emma. Moving on to Parents' Day, he remarks at Emma and Manny's squeegee kid antics because they come to the computer lab. And Emma's like, we're going to do this paper thing. We're going to tell people, like, you know, we should be fed forced advertisements, you know, squeegee kids are kids too type of thing, you know. That's what that episode really entails. Also, remember, it's Toby's episode. So the situation between him and his parents. Later, he is seen in the hall while Emma is an asshole towards Tracker. Because, like, I get it. like, she's allowed to have her opinion. I'll say this again. Emma's just so rude with it. Like, she is so rude. She has no respect for anybody, not even for authority figures, because she talks the exact same way towards her mom, and her mom don't check her for it. So, yes, trackers shouldn't talk down to a child, but also someone needs to put Emma in her place. Like, there's a difference between acting like Matilda's dad, you know, like, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb. Like, there's a difference between doing that and then letting your child walk all over you, or letting a child walk all over you. And Tracker, he said, look, it allows Sean to do homework at school on these free computers. So I don't understand why it's an issue. And that's when Spike should have said, you know what, Emma, that is, you know what, Tracker, that's a good point. But no, she just sat there with her mouth wide open, acting like she don't know how to say nothing. She get on my nerves, okay? Later the next day, Sean apologizes to Emma about Tracker's behavior. Emma apologizes to Sean, even though the person you should be apologizing to is Tracker. Also, you should be apologizing to your mama because you acted out of character and doing the absolute most for no damn reason. Like, you 12 years old. Shut up. I can't stand Emma, okay? Moving on to the mating game. He is sitting with the crew at lunch when Toby pleads for him not to join to see the Mama Onu documentary, the one about a turtle. And this is at Manny's house. So he's like, nah, I got plans. And Toby's like, whew. The next day, Emma and him talk about his project on Springer Spaniels because he had a Springer Spaniel. I forgot the name of the dog, but he had to leave the dog behind with his parents. I believe the dog's name was like Charlie or something like that. And so he really misses his dog. So that's what he chooses to do his project on. Moving on to Basketball Diaries. He is seen at basketball tryouts while Jimmy is being crazy on Spin's pills, and Spin is spinning out of control. This is during the game. And at the game, during the game, he asks Jimmy to pass the ball and gets fouled by Jimmy. And Jimmy shoves him to the ground trying to get the ball. And, you know, the next scene, he's all like, pass me the ball, shot. And obviously, it's not a good time to pass the ball. Like, it's very obvious. Even I know that. And I don't do sports. Okay, I played soccer. But I don't know sports like that. Like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about no fouls. I don't know nothing. But even I know there was not enough space. There was not enough to maneuver without the other team getting the ball. Even I know that, damn it. Like, you're making me sound smart, Jimmy. Like, Jesus Christ. And later he's in the background when Jimmy gets cut from the team because remember Sean ends up like twisting his ankle and we see him with his leg propped up. And I believe it was another student that was helping him because Armstrong was telling Jimmy that he was cut. So someone else was next to him. In Secrets and Lies, he presents his haiku in class, a poem about hating poetry. I'm not surprised. Moving on to Coming of Age. Him and Manny are reading horoscopes while Emma's flipping out. Remember, this is her period episode. Later, spots Emma outside during lunch and apologizes for him and Manny, like, talking about horoscopes the entire time. And she's like, oh, well, I'm sorry too, you know. Maybe we can look at the horoscopes, like, you know, before class. He's like, yeah, okay. And as soon as she gets up, that's when Manny's like, Emma. And she sends him on his way. He's like, okay, weirdo. In class, when Emma is presenting her paper with Manny, their project, and she's struggling with the shorts. And that's when JT says, oh, did Emma just pee her pants? She's like, no, I got my period for the first time. Sean's like, oh. And when she puts JT and Toby in their place, he looks like very like satisfied, like, yeah, that's right, girl, tell him. Later, he signs Emma's petition to get tampons in the girls' restroom. He says if Emma comes up with it, it must be a good idea. Ooh, okay, Sean. In Rumors and Reputations, he overhears Hazel on the phone and then tells Spinner. And then later he's confronted by Emma on how he heard the rumor. Remember, this is the episode where people were saying that Liberty and Armstrong were hooking up. This is that episode. And Friday night, he is spotted in the halls talking to Emma. He asks her out, and she tries to kill him in dodgeball, I guess, because she was like in her head about like if he liked her or whatever. He's like, what's wrong with you? Later, they talk in the MI lab and confirm their dates. This is the date mishap. So at first, Emma gets poop on her sweater. And then later at the movies, after the movie, when they're eating, Emma believed she had dumped her wallet in the garbage can. So they went dumpster diving, got caught by mall security. And they got kicked out, and then he's dumpster diving outside, and the wallet was in her pocket the entire time. So she runs away because she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. The next day, Emma apologizes, and Sean asks to keep the picture of them on their first date because remember, Spike had taken a picture of them. In Cabaret, he tells the audience to let Emma, Manny, Toby perform their interpretive dancing. And under pressure, Tracker helps him study at the beginning of the episode. Tracker tells him that their mom called. This is when they're outside by the motorcycles. Later, Jimmy bothers him again about finally getting into grade 8. Like, Jimmy's getting on my nerves about this. Like, dude, let it go. Like, you ain't got nothing else to talk about. You ain't got nothing else to mention around Sean. Like, let it go. Can you grow the fuck up? Like, that would just irritate me. I'll be like, if you don't shut up, you don't get decked in your face. Like, and I understand Sean's frustration with that because like a comment like once, that's fine. But if you keep bringing it up, don't be surprised when you get decked in the face, you know? Like, people have limits. And you keep bringing up an insecurity he has. Because clearly the reason why he lost the year is because he went back home. And whatever happened at home. It still affects him. So stop bringing up the fact that he is not in 8th grade. Also, just shut up, Jimmy. Like, worry about the fact that your daddy is cheating on your mama. Like we don't know how long his dad had been cheating, but he probably had been cheating the entire time. Let's be honest. It's probably been some years. This is some random situation, okay? Like, let's focus our energy somewhere else. Please and thank you. Okay? Later, him and Emma go to his place. He's embarrassed and he doesn't want to let Emma in. They end up studying at Emma's. While he's inside, he doesn't know that Emma and Tracker are talking, and Tracker's are like, oh, you are a good influence for him. Like, you know, he hasn't gotten in any trouble. Later at Emma's, when they're studying, they play around. Emma said that Tracker told her that Sean got in trouble once back in Wasaga Beach. And he admits that he deafened a dude in one ear. And he says that he has some anger issues, but he says that he's working on it. Later in class, he gets mad, believing that he failed the test in MI lab because he didn't finish it. This is when Liberty is like, I forgot how long the test was. It was like 45 minutes. She's like, 45 minutes, time's up, you're logged out. I was just like, Liberty, you're not helping. You're not helping the situation whatsoever. Later, Emma tries to comfort him, but he is so pissed. He says, everything I ever tried, I failed at. Later on, Jimmy won't leave him alone again, and they start shoving each other, and this is when Sean tells him to meet him after school, because they're about to go fight, you know. Sean is late to class, and he has to have lunch with Mr. Simpson. Simpson talks to him during lunch, and Sean says that he's a failure. And Simpson, he was trying to talk to him, trying to say, like, oh, that's not true, whatever. But he's like, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Like, I understand Simpson's side of it because, like, you can only help so much. Like, you can only give so much positive, what's the word? Affirmations. You can only affirm somebody so much. Like, but if they're really stuck in that negative mindset, if they're really stuck in their ways, it's hard to pull them out. They have to be willing to do it themselves. And he did the best he could. He said, damn, like, I don't know what else to do. He's like, my hands are tied, like, as much as I can't help you. Like, I'm not your parent. Like, I have limitations myself, okay? Later, Jimmy and Sean, they fight, and Emma tries to stop it, but he ends up shoving her. Emma's shocked and runs away, and he's upset too. He's like, God damn it. The next day, Simpson tells him that he did well on the test, even though he didn't finish. Later, he tells Emma this news, and he apologizes. Emma says that she's over it. Moving on to Jagged Little Pill. JT invites him over to Toby's, and at the house, JT pulls out E, and Sean goes downstairs, and he swipes it with Tylenol, and he cuts it in half. So they can both take it, and he tells Ash to rinse the E down the sink, because they'll never know. And then back upstairs, this is when JT and Toby are fake tripping out. It's so funny. It's one of my favorite scenes. Later, Emma, literally, I feel like it's like a few minutes later, he sees Emma, because JT and Toby invited Emma and Manny over, and when he sees Emma, he gets upset. Emma gets upset, and he ends up going into Ashley's room with her, and they end up kissing because he believes that Emma thinks that he's just a terrible person, and Ashley's like, well, you know, like, everyone believes what they want to think, and they think I'm a perfect do-gooder. They think you're a terrible guy. Like, people are so stuck in their ways on how they want to view us, type of things. It was just like it was a moment, okay? He was vulnerable. Also, they weren't even dating, so I can't fault him on this. It's just messy. Ashley cheated, though, because she's with Jimmy. She literally is over here smushing some other guy, like... Later, I mean, literally, like a few seconds later, Jimmy goes upstairs to find Ashley, and Jimmy spots Sean leaving Ashley's room, and Ashley's right behind him. And that's when she was like, Jimmy, oh! But Sean ends up splitting, and as he walks out the door, he runs into Emma. Emma's like literally outside, and she turns and she like falls into Toby's arms because she's like so sad, and he leaves. And that is it for the first season. So I'm gonna say like lessons learned and all that stuff for the end, but so far Sean is very much a product of his environment and very much in his head. So, however he was raised in Wasaga Beach, because obviously we didn't get a lot of information in the first season, but so far from what, you know, we've consumed in his first season, something he got in trouble in Wasaga Beach. He has this mindset that everything he tries that he fails. So clearly there's a lot of negative self-talk, but also possibly a huge negative environment that he was in, because you don't get those thoughts from anywhere. Like, I mean, sometimes like it can just be like a lot of negative self-talk, like even if you are like in a loving, supportive household. But for Sean, it's definitely his household. It's his household, it's his upbringing. And even though we don't know all the details yet, we can tell that it's very unstable. Just the fact that he went to Degrassi, moved back, and got back to Degrassi, and that affected his entire school year. So there's a lot of instability in his life, which leads him to believing these certain things so far that we've learned about Sean, and his limited beliefs, really, of himself and the people around him. So stay tuned for part 2. Love you guys. Mwah.